Here's what every American household felt this summer. Your wallet got lighter, and it wasn't because you were spending more freely. August delivered an unwelcome surprise that has economists and everyday shoppers equally concerned. The cost of living surged higher than anyone anticipated, with inflation climbing to 2.9% compared to the same month last year. To put this in perspective, that's a noticeable jump from July's 2.7% rate, signaling that the price pressures many hoped were fading might actually be gaining momentum again. But here's where it gets particularly painful for families. The monthly price increase nearly doubled from the previous month. While July saw a modest 0.2% rise in costs, August hammered consumers with a 0.4% spike, according to Thursday's Labor Department data. For households already stretching their budgets, this acceleration represents real money coming out of their pockets. The grocery store became ground zero for this inflationary assault. Food prices rocketed upward by 0.6% in just 1 month, meaning that weekly shopping trip that used to cost $100 now requires $100.60. While 60 cents might not sound dramatic, multiply that across millions of families and dozens of shopping trips, and you're looking at billions of dollars in additional household expenses. Meanwhile, gasoline prices delivered their own gut punch, surging 1.9% higher. For anyone who commutes to work or depends on their vehicle for daily life, this translates directly into less money available for everything else. The ripple effect doesn't stop there either. Higher fuel costs eventually work their way into the price of nearly every product that needs transportation. The pain spread across multiple categories that touch everyday life. New and used vehicle prices climbed higher, making car purchases even more challenging for families already facing affordability issues. Clothing costs increased, affecting back-to-school shopping and seasonal wardrobe updates. Even vacation plans took a hit as airfare prices rose, making travel more expensive for families trying to enjoy the final weeks of summer. When economists strip away the notoriously volatile food and energy sectors to examine core inflation, the picture remains troubling. This measure reached 3.1% over the past 12 months, well above the Federal Reserve's preferred target of around 2%. This suggests that price pressures aren't just concentrated in a few areas, but are spreading throughout the broader economy. Now here's where the controversy really heats up. The Federal Reserve finds itself caught in an impossible balancing act. Next week, policymakers are widely expected to reduce interest rates by 1/4 point to support a weakening job market that has shown concerning signs of cooling. But this creates a fascinating contradiction. How do you fight inflation while simultaneously making borrowing cheaper and potentially fueling more economic activity? And this is the part most people miss. Some of these price increases might be directly linked to political decisions made in Washington. August's inflation data covers a period when President Trump implemented higher tariffs on goods from numerous trading partners. The evidence suggests these trade policies may have contributed to notable price spikes in imported items that millions of Americans purchase regularly. Consider the real-world impact. Coffee prices jumped 3.6% in a single month, hitting daily routines and household budgets. Banana prices rose 2.1%, affecting families who rely on this affordable, healthy snack option. Clothing prices increased 0.5%, adding costs to essential purchases. These aren't luxury items. They're everyday necessities that working families depend upon. But here's where it gets controversial. A federal appeals court ruled late last month that many of Trump's tariff policies are actually illegal under current trade law. Despite this judicial determination, these tariffs remain fully in effect while the case makes its way to the U.S. Supreme Court, which has scheduled oral arguments for early November. This means Americans are potentially paying higher prices for goods due to policies that a federal court has determined violate established law. This situation raises fundamental questions about economic policy and consumer protection. Should families continue bearing the cost burden of trade policies while their legality remains under dispute? Are tariffs truly protecting American interests? Is there simultaneously making basic necessities more expensive for working households? The timing couldn't be more politically charged, with the Supreme Court hearing scheduled just days after the November election. The outcome of both the election and this legal challenge could dramatically reshape America's trade policy and, consequently, the prices you pay for everyday items. What's your take on this economic puzzle? Do you believe the short-term pain of higher prices is worth potential long-term benefits of protective trade policies? Or should consumer affordability take priority over trade negotiations? Have you noticed these price increases affecting your family's budget? And how are you adjusting your spending habits in response? The data tells one story, but your personal experience might reveal something entirely different. And that perspective matters just as much in this ongoing economic debate.